Why most people break under pressure. Every day, a battle takes place, not always in the world around us, but within. It is a battle of emotions, ego, and power. And in this battle, your greatest enemy is not the one who opposes you, but the one who controls your mind, your emotions, and your energy. Most people believe that victory comes from fighting back, that to win, you must strike harder. But the truth is, the greatest battles are won without lifting a finger. True power is not found in destruction, it is found in mastery. Have you ever noticed that those who seek to harm you, those who try to bring you down, thrive on your reaction? They feed off your anger, your frustration, your retaliation. The moment you engage, you have already lost. Not because you are weak, but because you have allowed them to pull you into their game. But what if you refuse to play? What if, instead of reacting, you remained unshaken? Silence is a weapon, not the silence of fear, but the silence of power. When someone insults you and you do not respond, they lose control. When someone tries to break you but you stand firm, they feel powerless. This is the first step to defeating an enemy without fighting. Deny them the fuel they need to keep attacking. Transforming negativity into strength. The second step is transformation. The energy of hatred, jealousy, and negativity thrown at you can either break you or elevate you. You decide. Instead of wasting energy on revenge, channel it into growth. Become so strong, so capable, and so successful that their attacks become meaningless. There was once a wise master who was constantly insulted by a man in his village. Every day the man hurled words of hatred, hoping to provoke him. Yet the master never reacted. One day a student asked, "Why do you allow him to insult you without responding?" The master smiled and said, "If someone offers you a gift, but you refuse to take it, to whom does the gift belong? Your enemy's words, their actions, their intentions, these are all gifts. If you refuse to accept them, they remain with the giver. Do not carry the weight of someone else's hatred. Leave it where it belongs." Patience, a warrior's greatest weapon. Silence alone, however, is not always enough. The third strategy is to use patience as a weapon. A wise warrior does not rush into battle. He waits, he observes, he lets the enemy destroy themselves. When someone is consumed by anger and resentment, they are already at war with themselves. If you simply stand back, they will eventually fall by their own doing. Time reveals everything. The one who seeks to destroy you today will often be the one who destroys themselves tomorrow. Your job is not to fight. Your job is to outlast. The power of unpredictability. The fourth strategy is unpredictability. The more predictable you are, the easier it is for your enemies to control you. If they know your weaknesses, they will attack them. If they know what angers you, they will provoke you. But when you become unpredictable, when they cannot read your emotions, when they do not know your next move, you take back control. Move in silence. Let your success be unseen until it becomes undeniable. The most dangerous person is not the one who shows their strength, but the one who conceals it until the moment is right. Rise above, until there are no enemies. And finally, the fifth and most powerful strategy, become so elevated that you have no enemies. When your mind is clear, when your energy is strong, when your vision is focused, no one can stand against you. Not because they fear you, but because they are no longer even in your world. When a lion walks through the jungle, does it stop for every barking dog? Number, because it knows who it is. When you know your worth, when you realize that no enemy is worth your energy, you rise beyond them. So, when faced with pressure, do not break. Master yourself, and you will master everything. The power of inner stability. If you truly want to overcome your enemies, do not fight them. Master yourself. Be so focused on your growth that they become invisible. Be so committed to your purpose that their words fade into the background. Be so powerful in your silence that their attacks dissolve into nothing. And in the end, you will realize there was never a battle to fight. Because true power does not come from defeating others. It comes from rising so high that no one can reach you. The wisdom of letting go. Once, there was a man who sought the wisdom of a great master. He had spent his entire life chasing success, relationships, and recognition, yet he always felt restless and burdened. No matter how much he achieved, it was never enough. The more he tried to hold on to people, wealth, status, the more they slipped away. Frustrated and exhausted, he finally asked the master, "Why do I feel so empty despite having everything?" The master smiled and handed him a cup of tea. As he poured, the tea overflowed, spilling onto the floor. The man jumped back, startled. The master looked at him and said, "This is your mind, full, overflowing, grasping, but unable to hold anything more. Until you learn to let go, you will never be free." Most people live in a constant state of attachment. Attachment to success, relationships, validation. They cling so tightly, fearing loss, that they suffocate the very things they love. They believe that control brings security, but in reality, control only brings suffering. Because life is not something you can grasp. It flows, changes, evolves. Those who understand this do not fear losing. They know that real strength lies in detachment. The art of detachment. Detachment does not mean indifference. It does not mean running from responsibilities or shutting off emotions. It means engaging fully in life, but with the wisdom to understand that nothing is permanent. A warrior fights with all his heart, but does not mourn the battlefield. A river flows with strength, but does not cling to the stones it passes. This is the art of detachment. To give your best to the moment, yet remain free from the outcome. Imagine a man planting a tree. He nurtures it, waters it, protects it from storms. But if one day the tree withers, he does not break down in despair. He understands that his duty was to care for it, not to control its destiny. The same applies to everything in life. Your work, your relationships, your dreams. Give your best, but do not be owned by the result. The wisdom of impermanence. There is an ancient story of a powerful king who ruled over a vast kingdom. He had everything, wealth, servants, power, but he lived in constant anxiety, always afraid of losing what he had built. One day, a wise sage visited his court and gifted him a simple ring inscribed with the words, "This too shall pass." The king was puzzled, but the sage explained, "Wear this at all times. When you are in sorrow, read it. When you are in joy, read it." Years passed, and the king faced moments of great triumph and deep loss. Each time he looked at the ring and remembered, "This too shall pass." Slowly he understood, neither success nor failure was permanent. He learned to embrace each moment with gratitude, but without attachment. For the first time, he felt peace. True power lies in freedom. This is a lesson few understand. Most people live in extremes, either desperately clinging to pleasure or drowning in sorrow. But detachment teaches you that both are temporary. If something brings you joy, embrace it fully, but do not fear its end. If something brings you pain, endure it with patience, for it too shall pass. A person who has mastered detachment is unshakable. When others panic, they remain calm. When others are consumed by desire, they remain focused. They are like a mountain, standing firm, unmoved by the storms of life. This is true power, not in controlling the world, but in being free from its control. Living without chains. Imagine walking through a marketplace filled with treasures, beautiful sights, and tempting offers. You admire everything, but you do not feel the need to own them. You appreciate the beauty, but you remain free. This is how life should be lived, fully experienced, but without chains. Many mistake attachment for love, but true love is free. If you love someone, let them be who they are. If you love your work, do it with passion, but do not let failure define you, because the one who is truly free is the one who holds nothing, and in doing so, gains everything. Mastering silence to control your emotions. If you truly seek strength, do not chase external validation. Master yourself. Love success, but do not let it define you. Because the moment you need something to be happy, you have given it power over you. A restless mind clings. A free mind lets go. If you have something, cherish it. If you lose something, move forward with grace. Life is like the ocean. Waves will rise, waves will fall. But if you learn to surf the waves instead of fighting them, you will never drown. There is immense power in realizing that nothing in this world truly belongs to you. The only thing you own is your inner state, your ability to remain peaceful regardless of the chaos outside. And when you reach this state, you will understand true happiness does not come from possession, but from freedom. Turning weakness into strength. There was once a boy born with only one arm. Despite his limitations, he wanted to learn judo. Many people discouraged him, saying he could never compete with those who had two strong arms. Undeterred, he found a master willing to train him. However, the master taught him only one move. Day after day, month after month, the boy practiced relentlessly. Confused, he asked, "Master, shouldn't I learn more techniques?" The master only smiled and said, "Just keep practicing." After a year of training, the master entered him into a competition. The boy was nervous, but as the fights began, he executed the single move with precision, winning match after match. In the final round, his opponent was bigger and stronger. The crowd doubted him. But when the moment came, he used the same move and won the tournament. Astonished, the boy asked his master, "How did I win with just one move?" The master replied, "Because the only defense against that move is to grab your opponent's right arm, and you don't have one." What seemed like his greatest weakness had become his ultimate strength. Most people spend their lives trying to hide their weaknesses, fearing judgment, rejection, or failure. But what if the very thing you see as a disadvantage is actually the key to your greatest power? What if your struggles, setbacks, and failures are not barriers, but stepping stones? The hidden strength in struggle history is filled with those who turned their weaknesses into strengths. Beethoven lost his hearing, yet created some of the most powerful music in history by feeling the vibrations of the piano. Helen Keller, who was both deaf and blind, became a global symbol of resilience and changed the way the world viewed disability. Thomas Edison failed thousands of times before inventing the light bulb, because he saw failure as part of the process. A person who has never faced hardship remains untested. But a person who has battled challenges and found a way forward, they are unstoppable. Weakness is only weakness when you allow it to defeat you. The moment you decide to own it, transform it, and use it to your advantage, it becomes your strength. A caterpillar may see its cocoon as a prison, a place of confinement, but inside, transformation is taking place. When it emerges, it no longer crawls, it flies. If you look at your struggles as a prison, they will hold you down. But if you see them as a place of transformation, they will lift you higher than you ever imagined. The choice to rise. Think about it. A person who lacks confidence in public speaking can either avoid every opportunity or practice until they become an exceptional speaker. Someone who is physically weak can either complain or train until they build incredible strength. A person who grew up in poverty can either feel sorry for themselves or use their hunger to achieve greatness. Every weakness holds within it the seed of strength. The question is, will you nurture it? Will you take what seems like a flaw and turn it into an advantage? A diamond is nothing more than carbon that has been placed under immense pressure. The same pressure that could break it is what makes it shine. Your challenges are shaping you, refining you, molding you into something greater. If you resist, you remain ordinary. If you embrace them, you become extraordinary. The power of transformation. The next time you feel weak, the next time you think you are not good enough, ask yourself, how can I turn this into my greatest power? Because the moment you start seeing weakness as an opportunity, everything changes. Nothing in this world can stop the person who has learned to turn their obstacles into their greatest strength. Transforming weakness into strength. You were never meant to stay small. You were never meant to let your struggles define you. Your journey is one of transformation, and the moment you stop seeing weakness as a curse and start using it as a tool for growth, you become truly unstoppable. The power of silence and strategy. There was once a great warrior who never fought a single battle with brute force, yet he never lost. His opponents feared him, not because of his strength, but because of his silence. He would enter the battlefield, observe his enemy, and say nothing. While others shouted, threatened, or acted in haste, he remained calm, unmoved, waiting. His strategy was never to react, but to respond with precision. One day, a young challenger, filled with arrogance, mocked him in front of a crowd. The warrior simply smiled and walked away. The challenger grew angrier. He followed the warrior, insulted him, provoked him, yet still the warrior said nothing. Days passed, and the challenger exhausted himself, his own anger consuming him. The warrior never lifted a weapon, yet he had already won. Strength is not in reaction, but in control. Most people believe victory comes from aggression, from proving their strength, from fighting every battle that comes their way. But true power is not in reacting, it is in knowing when to act, how to act, and most importantly, when to remain silent. Silence is not weakness. Silence is control. It is the ability to hold back when the world pushes you to react. It is the ability to observe, to learn, and to strike only when the time is right. A lion does not waste its energy chasing every noise in the jungle. It waits, it watches, and when the moment is perfect, it moves with precision. The illusion of strength. How many times have people tried to provoke you? How many times have you wasted energy proving yourself to those who do not matter? The one who argues, who shouts the loudest, who fights over every little thing is not strong. They are controlled by their emotions. But the one who is silent, who calculates their steps, who speaks only when necessary, they hold true power. Throughout history, the greatest victories were not won by force alone, but by patience, intelligence, and restraint. The greatest warriors were not those who swung their swords at every opportunity, but those who knew when to keep their sword sheathed. A samurai was once asked, "What is the most powerful weapon?" He replied, "The mind that does not react. This is strategy. This is wisdom, mastering the art of silence." A person who masters silence does not waste words on meaningless battles. They do not engage in unnecessary conflicts. They understand that energy must be conserved. Focus must be sharp. Words must be used like a blade, precisely, and only when necessary. The one who cannot remain silent is a slave to their emotions. They are easily manipulated, easily provoked, easily defeated. But the one who stays silent when others expect them to react, they are the ones who control the game. Silence is power in every aspect of life. In business, the one who rushes to prove themselves, who panics under pressure loses their position, but the one who stays calm, who thinks before they speak, holds the advantage. In negotiations, the one who talks too much reveals their weaknesses, but the one who listens more than they speak, who stays composed, controls the direction of the conversation. In relationships, the one who reacts emotionally to every situation loses their influence. But the one who remains calm, who chooses their words carefully, who listens more than they speak, they hold true strength. Your greatest power lies in mastery. Over yourself, the world will push you to react, to defend, to explain, to fight battles that do not serve you. But power is not in proving yourself to others. Power is in knowing you do not need to. The one who can master their emotions, the one who can control their silence, the one who knows when to act and when to walk away. That person is truly unstoppable. The secret of unstoppable people. Those who observe, act with strategy, and refuse to waste energy on small battles are the ones who rise to the top. In life, the loudest person is often the weakest. The one who complains, argues, and constantly seeks validation does not control their destiny. But the one who moves in silence, who builds without announcing, who strategizes without exposing their plans, that person is truly powerful. Silence is not about doing nothing. It is about knowing exactly when to act. The strongest warriors, the greatest leaders, the most successful individuals all understand this. Reacting in the heat of the moment leads to mistakes, but moving with intention leads to victory. There is an old saying, "Never let them know your next move." The world is full of people waiting for you to expose your weaknesses, to react emotionally, to act without thinking. But if you master the art of silence and strategy, you become untouchable. Let others waste their energy in noise. Let them burn themselves out trying to prove a point. You do not need to prove anything. The strongest person in the room is not the loudest. It is the one who listens, observes, and speaks only when it truly matters. Move in silence. Think strategically. Act when the time is right. This is how you win. The tree that stood strong. There was once a tree that stood tall on the edge of a cliff. The winds howled, the storms raged, and the rain poured down with fury. Yet the tree remained standing. Other trees fell, their roots unable to hold against the pressure. But this one never wavered. Travelers passing by marveled at its strength. "How do you not fall?" they asked. The tree simply stood firm, its roots deep in the earth, unshaken by the chaos around it. Strength is not about avoiding the storm. It is about standing tall in the middle of it. Life will test you. People will challenge you. Situations will shake the ground beneath your feet. The question is, will you bend? Will you break? Or will you rise above it all, unshaken? Unshakable people do not react. They respond. Most people live their lives reacting to everything around them. Someone insults them. They get angry. They face failure. They lose confidence. The world does not go their way. They collapse. They are like leaves blown in whichever direction the wind takes them. But then there are those who remain still, unshakable. No matter what comes their way, they are not controlled by their emotions. They are not broken by circumstances. They have mastered themselves, and because of that, nothing can break them. Think about the strongest people you know. Are they the ones who panic under pressure? Are they the ones who complain when things get tough? Number. The strongest ones are those who face adversity with calmness, those who do not allow the external world to shake their inner foundation. The secret of the wise man. There is an old story of a wise man who lived in a village. No matter what happened, good or bad, he always remained calm. When people praised him, he did not become proud. When people criticized him, he did not get angry. When he lost something valuable, he did not despair. A young man asked him, "How do you remain so steady?" The wise man replied, "Because I do not allow the world to control me. I control myself." This is the secret to becoming unshakable. The world will always be unpredictable. People will not always be kind. Situations will not always be in your favor. But your strength does not come from the outside. It comes from within. A mountain does not move because the wind blows against it. The ocean does not dry up because the sun is too hot. And you should not fall apart just because life gets difficult. Becoming truly unshakable. Most people let their emotions control them. If they are happy, they feel powerful. If they are sad, they feel weak. But true power comes from stability, from knowing that no matter what happens, you will remain steady. If someone insults you, do not react with anger. If you face failure, do not collapse in disappointment. If things do not go your way, do not lose hope. Because the moment you let the outside world dictate your emotions, you become weak. But the moment you decide that nothing will shake you, you become truly powerful. There will be days when everything seems to go wrong. People will disappoint you. Plans will fall apart. Obstacles will seem too big to overcome. But that is when you must remind yourself, you are stronger than this moment. You are bigger than your challenges, and no matter what happens, you will not be broken. Unshakable people become legends. Every great person in history has faced challenges. They have been criticized, doubted, and tested beyond their limits. But they did not give in. They remained unshakable. And that is why they became legends. You do not have control over what happens to you, but you do have control over how you respond, and that is where your true power lies. Final words: stand strong, no matter what. Be like the tree that stands tall in the storm. Be like the mountain that does not move, no matter how hard the wind blows. Be like the ocean that remains vast and deep, no matter how many waves crash against its shore. You are not weak. You are not meant to be defeated by life. You are meant to rise, to stand strong, to show the world that nothing, absolutely nothing, can shake you.